What's up guys, it's your boy ENDYMION, here with a new video about something that I strongly dislike in video games. I've been thinking lately of some games in my past that I never finished, and realized they all had one thing in common across them all. The inclusion of a forced time limit, and it sucks major cheeks. Let me explain. This whole thing started because I was thinking about that rumored Dead Space revival by EA Motive that's apparently being announced this month, and then I started thinking of other games I wanted a remaster or a remake of. My mind immediately went to the controversial trilogy of Final Fantasy XIII games, and there's this one game in that trilogy I never played much, and I thought, oh, well, if they made a remaster, I would definitely play it. Then I looked into why I didn't beat that game. Lightning Returns, the final game in that trilogy, has a hard time limit for some reason. To be perfectly honest, I don't even really know how much the said time limit in that game affects things, only that it immediately killed all my interest upon learning it had one to begin with. So I started thinking, why do I hate time limits so much? I think it's because we already have so many strict time limits in our real life, from time limits of rest between working, time limits that stretch over months at a time for credit card payments and bills, and then there's, the whole concept of life itself being one gigantic time limit that could end at any conceivable moment and result in our consciousness entering self-horrifying oblivion for the rest of eternity. Alright, that's a little dark, yeah, but I guess a simple answer is that I just don't like a timer on my gaming time. I'm the kind of gamer, and this is probably why I never tried Twitch streaming or anything, who fine combs everything. Like, I'm that gamer who hugs walls to see if the walls are fake, if there's hidden rooms. I talk to NPCs, seeing if I'm missing a quest or something. I'll check every drawer in every stranger's house like a psychopath, looking for the best armor or items inside. I'm that kind of gamer. So the idea of this time limit in my fun game time coming in and constantly following me wherever I go is borderline horror for me. Look, I am all for accessibility in games, as if someone is disabled, like they have color blindness or something. Yeah, okay, I get it, we need accessibility options for people to actually play games. But I'm also one of those people who thinks games like Dark Souls should never have an easy mode, as it compromises the experience, which totally makes me a hypocrite here, I know. Believe me, I know. But time limits are another beast entirely. The difference between a game being hard, like a Dark Souls or Sekiro, as opposed to an actual time limit counting down, is that the difficulty in Souls-likes is the enemies themselves and dealing with their mechanics. And the big difference here being is that when you die in a Souls-like, you get to retry. Infinitely, actually. There is no time limit counting down until Bloodborne threatens to melt your PlayStation and kidnap your dog if you die again. But with a time limit, it just gives you stress. But for no other reason than to make me sweat and think I'm wasting my time. I know people out there who are fans of games like Majora's Mask or Dead Rising will tell you that, oh, well, you can manipulate the time mechanic, so in a sense, the time limit is not really a problem or impactful on the game. Then my answer to that is then, if the time limit doesn't affect the game in that sense, then it being there in the first place is pointless to begin with. It's also weird that most of these games that have hard time limits are also, weirdly enough, also having much less development time compared to other games as well. Most of these time limit games require multiple playthroughs where you engage with the same content over and over until you find the best route, for lack of a better word, in order to beat the game. And again, this is a preference, but I don't like having to constantly revisit areas in a game or levels I've already beaten, as it makes the game feel small and lessens my experience. Like, I just beat Scarlet Nexus, and you revisit areas in that game quite a bit, and yeah, I'm not really a big fan of that kind of stuff, but that's just my opinion. Anyway, I'll give you another example. One game series I was always hesitant on playing were a legion of JRPGs called Atelier. They're basically turn-based alchemy games, and the older ones in the franchise mostly all have time limits in them. And you have to manage your time, make stuff with your alchemy skills, and manage it all so you don't run out of time to do the things you gotta do. As soon as I realized those games had that mechanic, I pieced out instantly. Forget about it. But recent releases in the Atelier series like Sophie, or even more recent, the Atelier Ryza games, have absolutely no time limits whatsoever. And it only makes the games way more enjoyable and approachable because I can play it without the feel of needing a guide beside me so I can properly manage my time. Look, maybe everything think I'm saying is stupid and all the superior time management gamers out there are raising their glasses like a shonen antagonist and calling me a lesser smooth brain, but I just hate the idea of this timer following me everywhere I go, as it just makes me not even want to engage with the game world whatsoever, but instead make a mad dash and leap to the finish line as fast as possible like a goddamn gazelle running away from a predator. Like, some time limits are okay. For example, in Final Fantasy VII, the very beginning where Cloud and Barret arm the bomb in the reactor and you have a set amount of time before the entire reactor explodes, it adds to the tension as you waddle your way to the exit, but the difference here is that it's one level, not the entire game. Or when you're playing a Call of Duty game's campaign or something and everything is exploding and some grizzled veteran soldier is yelling in your ear that you gotta go now and you have like 30 seconds. It may not be a timer, but like the whole world's coming down around you. Yeah, okay, that's fine. It's adding to the tension of the scene. But can you imagine playing something like Sekiro and the game literally just says, hey, if you die 50 times in this game, we will literally delete your save and break your console because you're hot garbage? I know it wouldn't be that severe, but I'm being emotional. Let me be, okay? But you get the idea. So this all brings me back to Lightning Returns, a game I've always wanted to play but never gave an honest chance simply because it has a timer before the game's entire world ends, and maybe you have ample amounts of time in that game and the time limit is just there to add tension, but if the amount of time is more than you need, then just get rid of the time limit. It just makes the game experience worse in my opinion. Also, back to Atelier, those newer Ryza games not only had no time limits, but they became the highest selling games in that series by a metric F-ton. Maybe it's because the game has no time limit, or maybe it's because Ryza's thighs could crush a diamond, or maybe it's both, but it's still evident that it sold the most out of its series and also happens to not have a mechanic that defined many previous installments in that franchise. I'm just saying, it has no time limit. That character design though. Anyway, I just wanted to rant a little here. Yeah, I'll still do theory videos on Mass Effect and maybe even more stuff, but sometimes I have a random thought and the only way I can get it out of my smooth brain is if I write it down and do this YouTube thing. So let me know if you guys want to see more videos about stuff like this. Because believe me, I could complain and rant about a lot of stuff in this area. Like talking about the worst games I've ever played or the most disappointing stories in games or characters I hate the most in the game. It's really honestly endless. Well, thanks for watching. I'm ENDYMION. If you like what you've seen here, throw me a like, subscribe, and comment how wrong I am about all of this, because there's definitely people out there who will disagree with me, and that's totally fine. And also, thank you for 600 subscribers. Holy crap, we're on our way to 1,000. That's insane to me. Thank you. And let me know what pisses you off in games too. I'd be happy to read them. Thanks for watching. Expect more videos soon. And like the time limits I hate, this video has also come to an end. So stay hydrated, and I'll see you next time.